What's up, weebs? It's your boy, God. What's up, weebs, and welcome back to Anime Lane, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. As always, I'm your host, Rebel Notorious, and today I'm once again joined by Kelsey. Hello.
Hi.
So last time we spoke about Weathering with You and Your Name. And that was fun.
It was.
It was a while ago now.
Yeah.
I don't normally
Feels like
pull
forever.
the curtain back a little bit to kind of give a peek, but basically that it's because it's summer, everyone's kind of on holiday.
Yep.
So even though there's new episodes of each podcast coming out, a lot of us have been idle for a bit. Melina's been off gallivanting in another country. Other countries, actually, plural. And Shaun's just been playing a bunch of video games like I have.
And then I've been away to Berlin, so
Yeah,
I've been
you're in
gallivanting as
Berlin,
well.
Yeah. So yeah, how was Berlin? We haven't really...
Yeah, it was great. I went twice. Thought I was going to get stopped by security. Didn't, thankfully.
Because you
But,
went to see Rammstein the first time.
Yeah, I did.
And then Water Parks.
I did, yeah.
We're playing.
Went to see them
And then you went back.
2 days later.
Amazing. We haven't really had a chance to do anything other since then.
Yeah.
Because you went to Berlin. You then got COVID.
Got COVID.
And then took a while to recover from that. So
I know, I literally died. But I'm back, so
yes.
we're good.
So yeah, here we are. Have you been watching anything or doing anything?
Not really,
No?
since we watched that.
Yeah.
This is the first I watched,
Wow.
so
Damn.
I've been slacking.
Yeah, you have. I've not been watching it too much. I finished off a couple of seasonal things recently. Spy Family, which was airing. That was very good. Very wholesome. A spy for it's very kind of like West Germany versus East Germany
All
type
right.
setting.
Okay.
And a spy is tasked with getting to the inner circle of the government.
So infiltrating it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so he has to adopt a child and create a
Oh.
fake family. So he adopts a kid, and it turns out she's a telepath. Sorry.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And so she can read minds and stuff like that.
That sounds really cool,
And
actually.
then he has to find a wife, and it turns
Uh-huh.
out his wife's an assassin. So he doesn't know
Naturally.
that. He doesn't know that the kid's a telepath, and he thinks that the kid doesn't know that he's a spy. But the kid knows that he's a telepath, and the kid knows that the mum's a spy.
Yeah.
An assassin. So it's very wholesome, family friendly, like the way they try and balance it all out. And then there was Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. That's kind of slice of life. A hapless guy who's always getting hurt has this girlfriend
Aw.
who's always trying to protect him and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Very sweet, very wholesome.
That sounds really cute.
Yeah, and then
Right up my alley again.
It kind of started off at first where I was like, I don't know if I could last this full thing, but then once it kind of gets halfway through it, it picks up a bit and it gets more interesting because more characters come into it,
Yeah.
and the relationships between the friends and stuff develop. Whereas to start with, it's she's very intense and she's very protective,
Yeah,
and then she
kind
can
of overbearing.
yeah, and there's I think it's maybe the second or third episode where you're like, oh, is she gonna become the jealous type?
Yeah.
Which wouldn't, and she does, but it's not played up.
That's
too
not
much.
too bad.
Yeah.
Because it's not her actual main personality.
Yeah, I was
then.
worried that was going to be one of the focuses of her character, but thankfully it wasn't. And then yeah, I finished City Hunter 2 because we're recording this the day after the massive heat wave in the UK. I mean, we're still in it, but the 2 worst days.
Yeah, I'm still dying.
Yeah, it's still too warm right now. But yesterday was 31, so not as high as down in London, England, and stuff
gosh,
like that.
aye.
Because we were up in Scotland, it was 31, I think, yesterday, and then 30, around about 28, 30 on Monday. And I couldn't sleep.
I'm not built for this.
No,
I live
neither
in
am
Scotland for the rain.
Yes, I don't like the rain, but I like the sweet spot of the weather where it's between 15 and 17.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen often either.
It doesn't, no. We kind of get that for a week.
Aye.
And then it's either too cold and wet or too warm and not wet enough.
Yeah, we moan about the weather. If
Yeah.
it's too good, we moan about it. If it's rubbish, we moan about it.
The
we
thing
don't
is,
have a
there's
sweet spot in the middle.
there's the weather being good and there's weather being unsustainably hot, and that's
yeah.
what that was. But yeah, on Monday night I couldn't sleep.
No.
And so I've been watching City Hunter 2, which is the second season of the City Hunter anime, since March.
Really?
So I watched like the first 26 episodes.
Uh-huh.
It's 63 long.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched the first 26 because I kind of watch it by the discs and the Blu-ray sets. So I was like, disc 1, 13 episodes, disc 2, 26. And I was like, I'm going to take a break.
You do it in like chunks.
Yeah. So I took a break for like 2 months.
That's quite a substantial break.
Yeah. I think I was watching something else, and at this point I don't actually remember what it was. I need to go like check my list. Or no, I was playing Final Fantasy VII. That's what it was. I was playing
I've seen you
7.
play that.
Yeah, I was playing 7 remake on the PS5, and then when I finished that, I was like, I'm going to play the original. So I took a break to play games, Ace Attorney, Final Fantasy, and a couple other ones. And then
I've been forcing you to play Stardew Valley.
Yes, as well as Stardew, and Doom in there as well. And then I came back to it, and the next disc, the last disc of the first Blu-ray set, which was like episodes 27 to 38, very rough.
Really?
Yeah, it was like just this. It went from being a kind of high point to just the lowest point.
Oh, no.
And like, it's not that the episodes were bad. It was that they were just kind of...
Was it like a slog?
It was very much a slog, yeah.
Oh.
And the thing with... So City Hunter, the first season was like 50 episodes. And like, it was like... City Hunter's very episodic. So like, each episode was its own story arc.
Right, okay.
And while it was formulaic, it had a lot of charm. It was very fun.
Yeah.
And the characters were great. And then season 2, I think in an effort to change it up and try and give each story more time, there's a lot of two-parters.
Right, okay.
And in the first 26 episodes, yes, some of them didn't need to be 2 parts, but they were fine.
Yeah, they probably could have just kind of squished it into one, maybe just pulling out a little bit longer.
Yeah, but the episodes 27 to 38 very much could have been single. In fact, most of them could have just not been there whatsoever.
Really?
And so it took me ages to get through that, and then eventually I was like, I took another break because it took me like a month to get through those. It took me like a month to get through those 13 episodes, and then jumping into the second set, I was like, okay, I'll watch it, and it was like a high point of the series.
That's good then.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. Glad you came back then.
Yeah, because it peaked back up to, you know, focusing on Ryo and Kaori, the main characters, like their relationship, because it's like, it's based on a manga, but like because it's such a long series, it's like you can go like for very long stretches of like no real actual like character development happening.
Alright, okay.
And that's fine.
It's just things happening then, yeah.
And that's fine because it's more about like the cases that they take on, because like Ryo's how do I describe it? He's called a sweeper, so it's a bit like a private detective.
Alright, okay.
And so he has like there's a notice board in Shinjuku where like people go and write XYZ, and that's to let him know they're at the end of the line, so they need help.
All right.
So he'll then help them,
pick them up, and yeah, that's cool.
And so it's like it starts off like the first half of each episode is Ryo being a bit of a sex pest.
Oh.
He likes his mokuri, which is like a sound effect term for the sound of a man's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's what he calls the act of all of that, of loving.
Of loving.
And so he'll chase after women. He's very much a womanizer, but because it's the 80s, it's like dialed up to the maximum. But then it's like once you get through that, it's like you have this story being established, Ryo being an idiot, and then it's like once you see the eye catch come up where it's like City Hunter, you know it's gonna have gone to an ad break. It comes back and you get cool as fuck Ryo. You get him with the serious face, the cool poses, and the gun, and like, you know, attacking the villains and being the hero. Where was I going with that? But yeah, anyway, because of like the length of the series, you don't get too much character development.
Right.
You just kind of get the characters being themselves, and that's fun. Those series can be fun. But going into like the last half of the second season, I was very glad to have like been getting some character development in there, because like any series that's like above 20 odd episodes is daunting to watch.
Exactly.
Because you know you're gonna have
sink.
you have to commit the time to it, and like 60 is just a weird number for anime. So I was like, yeah, okay, let's go. But I very much enjoyed the kind of last part of the season. So that was fun. But because of the heat wave, I couldn't sleep on Monday night. So I was like, I'll watch a couple episodes of City Hunter. I had only watched 2 episodes in the last disc, which contained 12 episodes. So I had 10 left. 6 a.m. hit and I had finished the season. I'd finished the last 10 episodes. I was like...
How long is each episode?
Like 20 minutes.
That's not too bad, but still.
Yeah, but still, I couldn't sleep, so I was up all night and I just tanked through the last part of City Hunter 2, which is good because I've still got 2 seasons left. Thankfully, only like 13 episodes each. But I'm gonna take a break because that was a bit intense. So right now,
especially in a night.
Yeah. So right now, I've started Legend of Korra. I know that's not anime. I want to put it out there. It's a very nice show from what I've seen. I've watched the first 3 episodes. Very nice animation though. Yeah, nice sequel to Avatar. Very much a kind of a call and response thing.
Yeah.
Where Aang in Avatar was the innocent dumbass. Korra is the headstrong, self-assured protagonist.
Yeah.
So it's a nice kind of change in dynamic of the show.
The yin and yang.
The yin and yang, yes. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. And then for today, we watched Belle. Now, if you're listening to this and you follow us on Twitter, I did put out the spoiler tweet, as usual, to say, this is what we're going to be watching. And I said we're going to be watching Belle and Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. But because of timing, we're going to have to shift Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop to the next episode that me and Kelsey do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that will be the next direct episode or like an episode in after, because I'm not sure what the scheduling is currently. Like I said, everyone's kind of been on holiday and it's been a very chaotic time trying to get everyone scheduled in and stuff like that. So yes, Soda Pop will be spoken about, especially now that I've watched it, because I want to fucking talk about that movie.
And I'm excited to watch it.
Yes,
so.
I think it's something you'll very much enjoy.
Yeah. It sounds like a me kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very much a you kind of film. So yeah, we watched Belle.
So good.
Yes, we normally when we record these, at least kind of with Shaun and Melina, it's like we've watched them the day before or a couple of days before, but like today we are like hot off the heels of watching this. Yeah, like this is hot from the press. Like the credits just finished rolling and we ran down here and I furiously set up all the equipment.
We wanted to talk
about that. I think when we went into it, it's like you go into a movie and you know there's going to be stuff to talk about, but you don't expect it to be so densely fucking packed with stuff to talk about. And I thought Ghost in the Shell would be the most densely packed like film we watched near the start of the podcast. But yeah, Belle was way more than I expected it to be.
Exactly. I didn't really know anything about it apart from the name.
Yeah.
And then you sent me a picture of like, this is what we're going to watch next. I was like, right, okay, great. I like purposely didn't look into anything for it because I didn't want to spoil anything. I didn't want to give anything away for myself because I know you usually pick them for a reason. So
I knew stuff, well, not stuff, like I knew the hype around the movie. Because for context, as always, Belle was directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who's a very popular Japanese anime director. I don't know why I need to specify that. He's a popular director. He's done films like Wolf Children, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Mirai, which was nominated for Academy Awards, and Summer Wars, and he worked on Digimon and stuff, and One Piece, and yeah, he's been everywhere. And so like because it was his movie, like it was getting hyped before it came out, and then it came out here. It had like its cinema run and stuff, but I couldn't go see it because timings and stuff like that. But the reception was positive.
Yeah. Like,
very positive. And the thing is, I have a mixed relationship with Hosoda in that I really enjoyed Wolf Children. I don't really remember The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. And I did not like Mirai. It was so boring. And that's actually kind of the general reception to Mirai in general for most people that I've spoken to about it. Is it's like, why was this nominated for Academy Awards?
Yeah. Because when you were telling me about it, you didn't even remember that until last. And you were like, oh yeah, I've watched that.
Yeah, I own it and I constantly forget about its existence.
Yeah.
So I I knew that it could be a hit or a miss movie. And that's kind of everyone's kind of relationship with Hosoda from my experience and sort of, Discord servers and stuff like that in the community, is that people like some of his movies, but whenever a new one comes out, it's like, well, we'll watch it, but we're not going to get our hopes up. And so when you get a positive reaction from a community like that, you think, okay, this has to be good.
This has to be good because if that many people are talking about it.
So I saw some trailers. I saw some of the promotional artwork and stuff, but I didn't know much beyond the Beauty and the Beast thing.
I didn't even know
which I never mentioned to you because I kind of wish I could have gone in not knowing about that.
Yeah. I'm like the world's worst when it comes to movies though. Like I don't research anything, so I go in blind most of the time.
Yeah, I think the reason it's very kind of a smart move to rename it in the English release, because it's called Belle here in the West, in the English speaking territories, maybe in the non ones, I don't know. But in Japan, I'm not going to try and remember the full Japanese title, but it's basically The Dragon and the Freckled Princess, which is very clearly a nice kind of homage to Beauty and the Beast, which this movie is in general. And I think you can kind of get that from the cover art of the, when I sent you the picture. I think now that you'll probably see it and think,
oh, duh, why did I not get that?
Yeah, so I didn't, I went in with tempered expectations. I can say that. But oh man, I really fucking enjoyed this movie.
Oh, it was really good.
Yeah, and I think we maybe mentioned that when we spoke about Weathering with You and Your Name, is that music is a very important part of movies, and this again, it fucking nails it.
It really does. The music was amazing.
Yeah, and I think it does it a step above the Shinkai movies in that the songs are actually a fabric piece of the film itself.
Integral to it.
Yeah, it's actually a character singing them and being very heartfelt and emotional.
Exactly.
When singing. So I don't know how to describe the plot of Belle, to be honest.
Batshit crazy?
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Sorry, my throat's kind of dry. Doing this in the middle of a heat wave is not a great idea.
Whoops. Bad timing on our part.
Yeah, so the film kind of starts with a basic explanation of you, which is a virtual world, almost something akin to
Sword Art.
Sword Art's not the best comparison in this one, I think. Think Ready Player One.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I get, but less cringe.
Oh no.
Because Ready Player One is everyone's wearing a licensed skin, so it's oh, there's the Master Chief, there's the girl from Overwatch,
there's Sonic over there.
There's Sonic. Basically, there's all the people we could get to agree to let us license these characters for this movie.
Let's shove them all in together.
Whereas, you is it describes it as another reality, I think. And there's very confusing terminology around it because you have you, but then you also have your it's not called your avatar. In the subtitles, it's capitalized as A and S, so I thought it was AS, but they do still pronounce it as and I was like, that's confusing. And it never really actually explains what that is beyond your avatar, which is scanned from your body and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of taking parts of you. Yeah, I think.
But then it also, I think, searches the internet for you, because
when it's freaky.
Yeah, because when it's creating Suzu's avatar, it confuses it with the popular girl as well, because you see the kind of internet the picture they took show up,
and when it was scanning the faces,
and it does recognize Suzu, but then as Suzu says, it looks more like the sax girl, but just with freckles. So it's very
true.
So it's very confusing, and it doesn't spend too long on the intricacies of the world, so you don't really have to question it and think about that too much. It just kind of launches us in from that point.
Oh my god, the first 10 minutes, what
wild.
Was happening?
So Suzu is a girl who's lost her mother. She's not in a great place, and she's kind of invited to you by her friend, Hiro. That's her name in you, but she's got like a longer name.
Right, yeah.
She's the little kind of weird
The
blue
weird one, yeah.
So she sends her an invite link.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. And she creates her avatar and kind of goes back and forth from what the name should be.
Yeah.
And she calls herself Belle because Suzu in Japanese means Belle.
Mm-hmm.
Though spelled Bell, as in a dung bell.
Love it.
And as soon as she joins, she just starts singing because she likes singing.
Yeah. I was very confused. It would not be my first choice of what to do in a virtual reality kind of thing like that.
I think it would have been so out of left field if there wasn't the scene kind of prior to that where she's on the bridge and like she's trying to sing.
Yeah.
And literally throws up, which is like the most intense way to let you know that this girl has trauma with that.
Yeah.
Because it does show you a lot of kind of build up to that, as in like, you know, she loses her mum and she had a good relationship with her dad, I think, when it comes to music and creating music and stuff. But when her mum passes away, she finds it hard.
She becomes a recluse as
well. Pretty much.
She shies away from it.
Because this film is very much also about kind of building friendship. Because at the end, you know, you see her with the choir women, with the tall boy.
Unlikely friendships as well.
with Canoe, Cat Machine, who's
Canoe
Canoe Boy. When you canoe.
I love the Canoe Boy. I love him.
He's such an odd character, and that's saying something for this movie.
Yes, it is.
In all my time watching anime, I've yet to see a character that in love with canoes.
The only person in the canoe club.
The only person, which is not how it works. In Japan, in high schools, you need at least 3 or 4 members to make an official club. And he competed, and he made it to nationals. How?
I have no idea. And he's just in school waving about his paddle like a weapon.
Trying to get members. That's amazing.
I mean, it's one way to do it.
It is one way to do it, yeah. So when she's in You, she, you know, sings and she goes viral. And it kind of then condenses time down
it definitely
a lot.
Does.
And like has her being, you know, very popular, doing concerts. And we don't get to really see any of that, but it does kind of go over that, like, very condensed.
Snippets.
Yeah. Showing kind of the social media reaction, people kind of commenting that, you know, it's not her creating the music, which is true, it's her friend who's making the music, but that's a common relationship in music, is that you have someone who sings, who probably also writes the lyrics, but then you have, like, a producer who creates your beats and your music.
Who kind of, like, puts it together for you.
So, you know, she's about to perform a concert in the dome, the sphere? Egg. That's not the egg. The egg comes in later. This dome just never comes up again either.
No.
So she's about to perform, and then the beast appears.
This is where we first meet the beast, is it?
Yeah. Or the dragon, as he's called this movie.
Yeah.
And the justices.
My God, the justices.
Oh my God, they are so weird. Like
Justin Justice.
I like that it never establishes if that's actually his last name, but we're just assuming.
No, it totally is. I'm going with it. I'm running with it.
And so it then it establishes, you know, the beast as like this. Oh, he's the bad guy of You.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. It's like,
yeah, but like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, he's just a guy, and then like these guards were like chasing him, and then he's apparently a bad guy because he ruined a concert, and that's it.
Yeah, it's so weird because they mention that, you know, he fights in the arena.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're like, oh, you know, he fights dirty and stuff, and it's like, but he's like the enemy of everyone, and I'm like, what is happening?
Exactly. It's never really kind of elaborated on more than that.
Which I think does kind of work as like a mystery angle of it.
True. It gives you all the intrigue to kind of want to find out a bit more.
and I think because of the way the story then goes with his character, you're not really concerned with where he came from, more just like who he is and his story. Which goes in such a direction that you never expect.
Exactly.
Because after that, Belle goes looking for him. She finds his castle, which is where the most apparent, Beauty and the Beast things come in. Because she writes a song to get through to him to show that she cares about him, and they literally dance the dance
in the ballroom.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! And then there's the rose as well.
Then there's the rose. Yeah.
That's like a blatant Beauty and the Beast thing.
Yeah, because she gets a red rose, he gets a black rose, but when they transform, they're both red roses, and he's literally in a costume similar.
Yeah, he's in his like tux. It's like with the coattails and everything. It's
And after that, it's like he's in pain. It's like, oh my god, why? I'm saying this like it's so melodramatic that I'm annoyed by it, but it's like
But it was like the Gaston scene in Beauty and the Beast, though. Like they come and storm the castle, they ruin it, and then like he runs away and everything like that.
Yeah, because like it spends a lot of time with like Belle / Suzu trying to get through to him and kind of find out, who he is and why he's in pain. But obviously, you also have the whole of you trying to find his castle and like, expose him. And it's the contrast of like Belle's doing it out of a very kind of sincere desire, whereas everyone else is wanting to just
drama.
The usual internet stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Expose him.
Which then leads to because it's like you have her like confronted by the justices, refusing to give him up, and then she kind of just lives her life for a bit.
Yeah, like they know it's Belle. Like, how does she get to go about? And I don't know.
It's so weird, because like she, after that confrontation and like she gets rescued, she just kind of
flies away.
Yeah, and you're left with like her going back to reality, and that's when you find out the popular girl didn't like Tall Boy. I cannot remember half these characters' names because as much as you do get like time with them, it's not enough time to really grasp who they are. It's more just kind of letting you know that Suzu's gradually healing, I think, is the best way to put it, is she's making new friends and her circle slowly expands.
Exactly.
And so you find out the popular girl doesn't like Tall Boy, who Suzu is crushing on.
Yeah.
It turns out she likes Canoe Boy. Which leads to
Who would not like Canoe Boy, though? Oh my goodness.
It leads to the best scene in the movie as well.
Oh, it definitely does. I love that.
Yeah, because there's like a semi-recurring joke at that point where when Suzu finds out that Canoe Boy made it through to Nationals, she's like, oh, I'll be rooting for you. And he jokes, oh, does that mean you have a crush on me? And she just has the best facial response.
Yeah, it's just like the most blank, like, where did that come from kind of expression on her face. And so did Tall Boy. Tall Boy was like...
Yeah, but Tall Boy always has that kind of face.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
And then later on when, they're having conversation and she finds out who it is, they're going to the station to part ways and Canoe Boy's there. And he does the same joke because he tells her that he tells Sax Girl that he made it through to Nationals, and she's like, I'm rooting for you. And he jokingly says, does that mean you have a crush on me?
And then she drops her bag, and then she's like...
and she just goes bright red. Yep. And he is just dumbfounded.
And then Suzu just stares at him and's like, nods. Yes. And then he, like, tries to run away.
It's great because it's like they leave and there's just the conversation off screen, and then the fucking Tom and Jerry walk that he does as he's coming back in.
It's the best thing ever. I would say watch the film just to see that scene.
Just for honestly. That scene, 100%. And then it kind of dives into the very kind of fast building tension of like they found the dragon's castle, and so now it's like a desperate attempt to find who they are before everyone else does.
That is, yeah.
And that leads to like the biggest twist of the movie.
Oh my goodness, it definitely does.
Like, this movie doesn't really pull its punches in that it's like, oh, everyone's just trying to be happy and have a nice life. It's like Suzu's clearly going through some stuff. She's trying to find her best way to work through it. For her, that is singing as Belle. It's taking on another identity, and like the movie is lightly about her kind of merging herself into what she constructs as Belle.
Yeah.
Which I kind of wish the movie did spend more time on.
That would probably be a bit... Yeah.
Yeah, it's already a 2-hour long movie.
Exactly.
So, but then it's, it also quickly turns into a movie about child abuse.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. So as they discover who the dragon is, they find out that they are being abused by their father, basically, because a big part of the dragon's character is that he has bruises and he seems to show them off, and so you think that they're physical abuse bruises, but it turns out they're not. It's the dad is
mental
and verbal
abuse.
And so he internalized it's two brothers, the older one and the younger one, and it's the older one who's the dragon, and he kind of internalizes all of this pain, and it comes through his bruises on the dragon.
Yep.
And I did not expect that.
No, I didn't either. I thought it was going to be actual bruises as well, but
and I think like for most of the movie you're thinking, oh, it's going to be someone she knows, as kind of cliche and tropey as that would have been. It is setting it up that way.
I, for more than half of the movie, thought it was going to be Tallboy.
That's what I had thought as well. I was like, he's going to have some dark secret.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like the challenge of their relationship as friends, is that she finds out about it, and so she has to like decide if she's going to stick with him and adjust to knowing and whatever that secret may have been, or run away. But then it turns out to be something very different. And to say I'm glad it went in that direction sounds so weird, but I'm glad it pulled a rug pull like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That it doesn't just
something you didn't expect.
Yeah, like an unexpected twist, because a lot of the time these movies can be predictable.
Yep.
But going in a direction like that, I did not see coming.
No, I didn't either.
And then it's about trying to get those kids safe from their dad.
From their dad, exactly. And then like seeming as though the dragon thought no one wanted to help him as well.
Yeah.
And then Suzu had to give up her disguise as Belle,
which is one of my favorite parts of the movie, really, because like for the animation of the movie, everything taking place in the real world is like hand drawn, but everything in You is CG.
Yeah.
And if You had been hand drawn, her unveiling her identity, that big moment where she finally sings as Suzu, wouldn't have been as impactful.
I don't think so,
because there's so much going on. It's the camera movement, the lighting, the
reactions of other characters,
the shot composition, just the whole construction of the scene is so like well utilizing the difference of CG animation, because especially like the way just individual parts of like her move, her skirt and her hair flapping in the wind.
It's less static
it gives it more dynamics and makes it feel a bit more alive, which really works for that moment.
I just really loved when the girl in the crowd was like, oh, she's just a normal girl, she's like me,
because that's sort of like a rival singer who's been very kind of against Belle for most of the movie. Peggy Sue is her name, and like obviously underneath that character that Peggy Sue is just another girl.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think because a lot of people were like, as with anything on the internet, it's like there's skepticism as to what who a person is and what their character really is, and like a lot of people thought, oh, Belle's just a manufacturing of the music industry type thing, But then, you know, Peggy Sue has the realization that she is just another girl, a young girl. And it leads to a very nice scene.
It definitely does. I think that's like one of my favourite bits from the movie. I really picked up on that. I was like, that's really nice.
Because that's where we have Egg. Because prior to all of that, it's like everyone and you kind of surrounds Belle, and like they're shaped in an egg because it's a metaphor for, you know, she has to break out of her shell and become herself. But when you're looking at it, all you can think is egg.
Egg.
Yeah, the music's amazing in this as well. Like the songs are very. I think we've mentioned that actually, haven't we?
Yeah,
I've just looked round. I think that felt like a natural place to bring it up because that's when she goes into like the song that she couldn't sing before, you know, becoming Belle, and finally she can now sing it as herself.
Because like you mentioned on the bridge, she like threw up when even thinking about singing it.
And it's like a very emotional song because it's clearly about losing her mum and having to find a way to just carry on without
to cope.
Yeah, which is very powerful because I think a lot of these movies can, you know, people are like, oh, you know, they're very tropey, you know, it's the same thing that everyone goes for, but it's like it's relatable. It's like everyone has that loss in their life and everyone knows what that feeling is like, and so like using that in a very sincere way in a story,
I felt like it was really powerful.
It is very powerful moment, especially when like, because there's a kind of hint earlier in the movie that if someone's emotions are strong enough, it kind of becomes this light in front of their chest, and she touches everyone in a way that they feel the same, and so there's just this sea of lights. It's a beautiful scene.
It was gorgeous.
Again, another thing that could have worked in hand animation, but maybe wouldn't have had the same impact. So yeah, it's a very, very fun kind of. Fun's a weird word to use, but like
considering the topics we've just spoken about, it is fun, but it's quite deep as well.
It's this kind of it has the veneer of a fun movie, but underneath it all, there's like this very real, sincere, and deep, you know, emotional story of not just Suzu, but the dragon. And I kind of like that it didn't go too much into the dragon story. Like it does hint at it because we were like, oh, you know, the kid who like, because the little brother, you see him calling the dragon his hero earlier in the movie. And the one thing you instantly notice about him is that kid is not right.
No,
because he is just like psychopath eyes, like, and nowhere.
Exactly, staring into the abyss kind of thing.
And that abyss has very much stared back at him.
Yup. Definitely has.
And then so you kind of think, oh, maybe it'll be him. But then, you know, you find out it's his brother and he's been protecting him from the abuse of their dad.
Exactly.
And, you know, there is this great confrontation where she frantically goes to save, well, not to save them, but she goes to kind of protect them. And it's like, I don't know how to put it.
So deep, like, honestly, like, when she went and, like, found the little brother and, like, ran to him, like, I was like, my goodness, like...
Yeah, because it's not so much of, like, in a typical movie, I think, you know, it would go in the direction of, well, now we need to, you know, make sure they get away from the dad, we need to get the police involved, we need to make sure that this happens, you know, the typical hero arc of it.
Exactly.
Whereas for Suzu, it's pretty much just going and showing them that she's there, and like the video of him, you know, assaulting the brother and stuff like that, like it goes viral, so you kind of have to assume that like something does get done about it, but we don't need to see that.
Exactly.
We just, you know, we see that Suzu's kind of healed. She has a more expanded friend circle, and I'm sure at some point in the future she'll meet, you know, K I think his name was the dragon.
I think it's K or Kai or
I think it's K, because I think it's KEI, which is
K. Yeah.
They'll probably meet again in the future, but like as far as our story is concerned, like that's.
And I'm super happy, like what you said, that they didn't get together.
Because there's like this moment where when she finally meets Kay and Kay finally realizes that Suzu is indeed Belle, and like he finally trusts her. It's like you kind of think, is this where they're gonna make them the couple? Is this where it's like gonna be that
like pushed together kind of thing,
where they both admit they love each other? And while Kay does admit that he loves Suzu, Belle, she just says thank you, because she's clearly still very much in love with Tallboy, her childhood friend, which leads to like a very nice moment where at the end of the movie he's like, oh, you know, I can finally stop being your guardian and we can just be friends. And it's like, that is such a sweet moment. It's like he recognizes that
she no longer needs that protection.
It's almost like he knows that she's not fully there yet, but she's on the way to healing, and that he can just be there rather than just being the watchful eye.
Exactly.
Which is, I didn't expect this, because like Mirai tried the whole family relationship thing and it didn't work. But Belle really pulls it off on so many different levels, because like each person is almost like a family member to Suzu. It's like, you know, Tallboy is the childhood friend.
Yep.
The weird like girl for like that's her friend who produces all the music and is like the computer.
Yeah, her like producer.
Yeah. Who carries a big box around that has her massive computer setup in it.
She's like a hacker.
Yeah.
She is.
And then, you know, you have the choir, who's almost like an extension of her mum.
Yeah, I loved the choir.
Yes,
the choir was really good.
Yeah. So it was a very nice movie, nice music. The animation, you know, the balance of hand-drawn and CG was very nice, because like at times you could almost forget that you were looking at CG.
Exactly.
And like I said, for you, the virtual world thing, it really works. Like the environments are very nice.
It really pops, like for the colours and
and I think the buildings, you know, the kind of nonsensical, like too much information design about it would be very hard to do
to pull off.
And
I'd say
2D animation. So it's very nice. So yeah, we watched it in 4K because like there was the recommendation of like all the home video releases for the Blu-ray are kind of like, because it's so dense with visual information, it's so many different scenes that like so much of it gets lost in the home video release, which I can understand from having seen it now, that like this is a film to be experienced in 4K 100%.
Yep. You wouldn't get as much information as you would need, I'd say. Yeah,
definitely. Like the whole opening sequence, we were like, what the hell is going on? There is so much on screen.
Exactly. And like, I looked at you, you looked at me, and we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And like, I can't even imagine what that would be like in just standard HD. Like, that would look...
It would be like a blur colour.
Yeah.
To put it nicely.
Yes. So yeah, if you want to watch it, it's available from all good home video retailers here in the UK and in the US. If you go at All the Anime's web store, you can pick up the collector's edition, which includes the 4K release, as we watched. I don't think there's a 4K one out in the US at the moment, because Anime Limited put a lot of work in to get that like out for here, because it's like the full work, so they couldn't even use their normal kind of channels for producing it. They had to get like a proper kind of big company to produce the 4K disc authoring thing. I don't want to get too technical into those terms because that's a whole other discussion.
And that just went over my head.
And it just goes over, something clearly only a few people in the community care about, which is fair enough because it's not for everyone. But yeah, so this has been our podcast episode about Belle. I don't think there's much else we can say about it. Very fun. Fun's not the right movie. Very lively, dynamic.
Exactly.
Sincere. You know, tells a very nice story.
10 out of 10. It had a doggo in it.
Yeah, I was wondering how long it'd take you to bring out the dog.
And there was a cat as well. So
there was a cat.
Yeah.
A cat. Yeah, so yeah, thank you very much for listening, because I think
you.
this is the natural end point here. I think if we went on, we'd just be dragging it out now, so
we'd just be rambling.
Yeah, which is normal for us.
It is our normal.
We're not going to subject you guys to that. So yes, this will be the shortest Anime Lane to date, but I think it makes sense to just discuss Belle on its own episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much for listening. I've been Rebel Notorious. I've been with Kelsey.
Thank you.
This has been Anime Lane. I don't really have an outro, so this is weird. I don't know where to go from here. We hope you've enjoyed listening to this, and we hope you'll come back for more episodes in the future.
Peace out, weeps.
Bye.